Good evening, my beautiful friends and subscribers. How are you all? What's happening? Colin's bailed on me. He said he's ill, but I think I mean, he won like an RTT. I think his head was big. I think he thought he was going to inflict a Blood Angels Commander defeat. I mean, yeah. I think we'll see. I think he needs another week to get ready, you know, to practice. It's fine because I wanted to run double Ballistus Dreadnought anyway. So I'll be slapping just a few base colors. I've been painting those Death Company a lot. So we're going to do something a bit more chill tonight, which is a Dreadnought. Hello, Marius. Hello, Cambo. Hold on, let me get the chat up so I can see it a little better. Let's get double-digit likes before anyone says anything. Yeah, let's get triple-digit likes tonight. That would be nice. Can I get a Christmas box? Says think for yourself. You could buy me a Christmas box. I aren't getting one. My family won't buy me a Christmas box. Why don't you get two? Why don't you get one for yourself to treat yourself, and why don't you treat me too? Think for yourself. That'd be nice. Kale says, wish I could stay and watch, but I've got to go to work. Man, why do we all have to go to work? You've got to mine gold 2 kilometers underground. I hope you find some gold. Question for anyone that's tried Lost Brethren: would you go with full hero hammer? Do you know what? This weekend past, someone submitted a list with the Lost Brethren, and apparently they did pretty well with playing it. So there was a Lost Brethren show. If you watch Sunday night's Army show, it was probably maybe the 3rd or 4th list, so maybe like 45 minutes into that stream. Evening, Foz, how you doing? Yeah, no, I think Colin is genuinely ill. He doesn't really cancel very many things, but he knows I've got young kids, and he knows that I probably don't want to pick up any illness he has, so I actually appreciate him cancelling if he wasn't 100%. I can't be bothered with kids being ill. We always end up having to take them to the emergency room. It's a nightmare. So I'm going to use some Screamer Pink. I'm going to use some Mephiston Red. I'm going to use some Mechanicus Standard Grey. I think I'm going to get some contrast paint out for this Greater Demon Head that's on the base. But maybe we'll focus on some other stuff first. Maybe I'll get some more Dawnstone. How do we feel about running Redemptor Dreads? They're kind of expensive at the moment, dude. 205 points. I'm not entirely sure I feel good about Redemptor Dreads. Hello, Apollo. How you doing? McFatson, good evening. I'm doing well. I was supposed to be playing Death Guard, but we've moved that to next week. And Miles has promised me he's going to bring his GSC or the Thousand Suns on the channel towards the end of the month. So got that to look forward to. Let me just grab one more paint out of this box over here in 1 second. Sorry, I should have been more organised before I started my stream. Of course, the paints are in the box at the bottom of the pile. Never used this paint before, so it'll be interesting to see how it works. It's my second purchase of a contrast paint. Cool. And there was one other thing I wanted to do. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you my Sanguinary Guard that I've been building. I opened my combat patrol last night. I'll wait until a few more people get into the stream. So if you're here already, please press the like button. Once we get to like 50 people watching, let me know and I'll show you my Sanguinary Guard. What will we start with? Let's just do this base bit. I think I will buy myself a Christmas box if I can get one. Do the Christmas boxes sell out? Is that why? Last year the Marine Christmas box didn't seem that exciting, I must admit. Wasn't it just 15 Assault Intercessors and 3 Outriders and an ATV or something, right? Was there even a character in last year's Space Marine Christmas box? How many Christmas boxes have they announced? I saw that they announced the The Knights one, I must admit I didn't pay too much attention. I don't often buy the Christmas boxes. I guess for me, I'm not often starting a new army. I am never starting a new army. So very rarely do I ever get... I don't think I've ever had a Christmas box, I must admit. Oh, Miles, if you're there, I can show you some of your Dark Angels pieces. I've been getting more 3D printed pieces. Of course I've been getting 3D printed pieces. Where is it? I actually have a 3D printed... Look at this. This is like for a Ballistus Dreadnought. Unfortunately, this Ballistus Dreadnought is already built. But this is like a 3D... This is like a whole piece. That's pretty cool, right? So these are Dark Angels, and these are Dark Angels. So what we've got here is some 3D printed storm shields. They come with a Terminator arm attached, Miles. Oh, let me press the damn autofocus button. I'm using a new camera interface. Droid controls. Autofocus. The autofocus was being really nasty last night. Maybe there's too many things for it to autofocus on. But these come with like the Terminator arms attached. I think they're pretty dope looking. So they're like grabbing the top of their shield. And then we've got... I think this is a Ballistus Dreadnought kit. Dark Angels. Quality looks pretty good, and then you even got a sarcophagus with a little Dark Angel dude on it. I think I've got another box. I think I ordered 3 or 4 things for you, Miles. So I think there's more. There might be another Dark Angel thing in that box. So I'll have to get through it. I bought a bunch of stuff for the Blood Angels charity raffle as well. So we've got quite a lot of pieces. Yeah, I last night I was building a Sanguinary Guard with the 3D printed Crimson Lord stuff. Once we get to 50 viewers in the chat, I'll break him out. That's what we'll do. I'm excited for you to see this Sanguinary Guard because he has a lot of Crimson Lord pieces on him. Oh, Miles, I wouldn't expect you to let me win the game regardless if I bought you models or not. It's all good. I actually want to see the strength of the Thousand Suns, because every week I just hear Andrew or Colin say like, oh, lost to Miles last night, and they don't really give me anything else, Miles. That's it. They just like, oh, lost to Miles, Thousand Suns again. They don't. So they don't speak very much when they've lost. They like to talk it up when they've won, though. But yeah, so I got a big delivery from Archie's Forge, which is a UK 3D painting place, and I actually filmed myself unboxing all the stuff. I just need to edit it and then attach the model that I built with all the 3D parts, because it's pretty cool. I would like to give the model a quick spray. I always think models look better if you manage to give them a spray. So my plan is to try and give it a quick spray. Maybe this weekend we'll get like one last good weekend of weather here in Scotland for spraying, and then it kind of gets too cold for probably like December. In my old house I actually used to spray models inside my shed, because I had an outdoor like stone built shed in my old house. But it just meant like the whole inside of the shed was covered in a layer of like white spray paint. And it made such a fucking nightmare cleaning out the shed. So I've decided I'm not spraying in my... And I have a shed this time in my new house. It's a wooden built shed, but I'm not going to spray in it just because I can't be arsed cleaning it out. I'll just not spray for a few months over winter, I guess. Ironically, I heard 1,000 Suns can't be played at 1,000 points after the nerf. I don't know. I don't know enough about 1,000 Suns. Like, if I go back over like the last 2 years, I think I've played Thousand Suns at a tournament one time, and the list that I played at the tournament was not a competitive list because he had the equivalent of like a Thunderhawk gunship. Well, I don't think it's called a Thunderhawk gunship for Thousand Suns, but that's basically what it was. It was like a flyer. It might even been like a Chaos Thunderhawk gunship. Can Thousand Suns take that? But I played them once, and I beat them, and I felt like it wasn't a competitive. You know, like sometimes when you go to a tournament and you play against someone, you're like, you know, like they're just a player that's come along to have fun. They're not trying to get podium or anything like that. And it was one of those games where like the guy I was playing was fine enough, but I just felt like his list was like not that strong. And occasionally you get that at tournaments, yeah. Wafum? That's a strange name. How the hell do you pronounce that? Wafum, new to 40k. Can you recommend a decent all-round brush set that won't break the bank? I've got the Combat Patrol. Where are you based, Wafum? Are you in the UK? Sean says, I'm getting back into Blood Angels after 15 years and I'm going a little crazy on eBay, winning a lot of older figures. Some are definitely playable, but what do you do with the older figures? I rebase them. I put them on the right size base for the new models, and then we play with them as if they're the new models. Sometimes people go to extremes where like they actually want the old figures and they want to play them as the new models. If you're going to an official Games Workshop tournament, you might get some slack. Like you might not be allowed to use some of the old models, you might have to have the new ones. But if you're just rocking up to play with your friends, or you're just going to like a local tournament, 9 times out of 10 no one's going to care if you've got the old models and the new models. It's within reason, right? Like you couldn't use a model half the size of the new model. Like I couldn't have like a tiny little dreadnought. That they need to be on the right size bases, they need to be within reason, showing the weapon options and stuff they have. But if you do all that, then no one really cares beyond that, I feel like. Be upfront with your opponent before the game though. Just say like, you know, hey, this model is this, and this is the weapon options he's got. If they're like, just remove any doubt so your opponent knows 100% what it is, and I think you'll be fine. I'm going to be using old models at the events for at least like a year, maybe 2 years, because I don't paint as... I do paint every week. You're in the USA. Okay, did I ever decide about the suppressors in the new list? I want to try the new list as it is, and if it doesn't go well, then I guess I'll try a unit of suppressors, maybe. Alright, I'm not in the US, I'm in the UK. So someone in the US, Phil, actually. Phil's in the chat. Phil Araggio is a guy that I know from America. He actually flew all the way over to Scotland for our last tournament this summer. Phil, Wafam is in need of a paintbrush or paintbrush set in the US, and he doesn't want to break the bank. If you have any recommendations, Phil, or Foz, either or, if you guys are helping him out, if you type !Discord, you can come into our Discord room. The guys might be... I'm not entirely sure if they can link you stuff. I'm not sure if there's like restrictions on links that can be placed in the YouTube chat, but there's definitely not in Discord. So my advice would be, you get in our Discord anyway, because people in Discord are generally very helpful. Wafam and Phil will probably be able to tell you somewhere to buy a nice brush in the US without breaking the bank. See, what I'm doing at the moment is this is a cheap-ass synthetic Games Workshop brush, and I actually start with these because like there's a lot of work on these models before you even get to anywhere close to detailing, right? Like you've got to slap on like quite a lot of paint before you get to detailing. So I actually quite like having like a cheap brush. Like these synthetic ones from Games Workshop cost like $5. And this brush has probably had 100 hours of painting where I don't give a fuck about the brush, right? Like I'm just slapping on paints and I'm building, what I call it is like the base coat step, where like all I'm doing is getting like the rough first coat on, blocking out all the colours, and I keep a nicer brush for when I need to do detail, right? So, there's 50 people watching. Alright. Robert really wants to see the Sanguinary Guard. Holy crap. Okay. Check this. I made this guy last night. I filmed this whole video of me making the guy last night, and the video is like 90% done. I rendered it all out. It didn't finish till like 11 o'clock, and once I'd rendered it all out, I wasn't happy with it. So the whole video will come out next Tuesday probably. But this is my first Sanguinary Guard with the new pieces. So it's like the Sanguinary Guard body, an Infernal Pistol. It's Crimson Lord wings. It's a Crimson Lord shoulder pad. It's a Crimson Lord head. It's the Sanguinary Guard spear. But I cut it in half and I pinned it. So I've got another spear on the back. Because Sanguinary Guard need blades, right? So this is a double-bladed blade. It's not a spear. It's a double-bladed blade. You can see blades on both edges. But it's also got the banner. How clever. I actually think it kind of worked out okay. I've noticed like a couple of blemishes that I really want to clean up. And then I actually want to give it a spray because I think that would be a good way to end the video. But the double-bladed banner idea worked really well. I was really pleased with that. I didn't know how that was going to go. I didn't want them to have a spear because spears suck in terms of their on-tabletop rules. So we did use probably an excess amount of glue around his hand and stuff. There's a couple of bits here that need tidied up, and that's why I didn't release the video last night. It was too late and I wasn't happy. But yeah, I guess it shows that you don't need to necessarily if you don't like the spear, because I kept hearing people saying, how do you give him the banner without giving him a spear? So I was like, I'm gonna make that happen. I didn't start like that, but sometimes my conversions, when you start converting things, you get lost in the process. So hopefully we get a nice enough weekend this weekend where I can just spray it and then add a little, like, a conversion will always look messy, and then when you spray it, it might clean it up a bit. So that's what I'm hoping will happen. So what's everyone working on tonight? How is everybody today? I don't know how I felt like when I got to the end of making that new Sanguinary Guard model. I don't know if I felt like it felt... I think it was James had been in the chat a few weeks ago, James Gibb, and he was saying like, oh, the new Sanguinary Guard feels so good, they're so big, they feel epic. And like, having made that one, I was like, I don't know if I necessarily feel like they're giant, they're overwhelming, they're epic looking. I mean, I felt like it was okay, but like, I'm not sure I'm on the camp of like, oh my god, this model was so epic. Like, I didn't think it was bad, I just don't know if I felt like it was generally as epic as maybe... Like, Blade Guard, to me, feel a little bit heftier, maybe. Dr. Eggchan is painting a Lancer, nice for you. Campbell's painting Emperor Spears characters tonight. McFadden is working on keeping the state from taking his house. Okay, well, I hope you get to keep your house, McFadden. What does that involve? Keeping the state from your house? It's a bit of a random thing to say. A third ballista, says Robert. Assault intercessor, says Colin. You put your Sanguinary Guard on flight stands? which flight stands did you put them on? Like yeah, which flight stands? Which units flight stands? I mean, or did you use 3D printed ones? Inceptors? Okay. I made a banner man with an infernal pistol. Did you manage to... Did you keep the banner on the spear, or did you try and transpose the banner onto like a blade like I did? Guff, thanks for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out, Guff. How are you today? I was actually quite looking forward to getting a game tonight, but it will be... I'll be looking forward to playing Colin's Death Guard next week. I think they're very anti-Blood Angels, which I kind of like. Like, I guess if you practice against armies that are good against you, or like, you know, Death Guard are very anti-infantry, anti-marines. If you practice against armies that are good against you, then I guess when you come up against armies that are weak against you, you just have a better situation, right? I like playing Death Guard. I really do have Colin to thank for my tournament winning list, because he kept bringing these horrible Death Guard lists. And I had to adapt. And I probably wouldn't have run the I probably wouldn't have run the Predator Destructor if it wasn't for him keeping bringing big blocks of Terminators and me just not feeling like I could charge the Terminators or couldn't kill them in melee combat. Kind of forced me to bring something that can deal with Terminators in the shooting phase. Oh, that's an interesting colour, that blue, actually. That colour is one that I've never used before. That's the first time I've ever used it. Pterodon Turquoise. I actually built it because I thought I would use it to paint some xenomorphs. Like from the Aliens board game. One glorious day in the core. You know, like this. This is the ultimate badasses. But I thought it would be good for like painting like real aliens, like actual aliens. Oh, you don't see any of them on the back, you just see them in the front there. I think that would work on, like, you'd literally just spray them back, quick white brush highlight, and then just slap that blue all over them. I think that's probably a perfect colour. That's what I was looking for, like a dark blue contrast paint. Yeah, this is only the second pot of contrast paint I've ever bought. I mainly bought it because I thought that I could get my daughter to paint. My daughter's only 5. I know that probably Aliens isn't the game that we're going to be playing straight away, but I thought she could at least paint Aliens. Because you literally just, like I said, we'll spray them black, we'll dry brush them white, we'll literally cover them all over. Kind of how we just did that. Keeper of Cigarettes. I actually think that's kind of dark for the head of that, so maybe, you know, like maybe we'll give it a dry brush of a lighter. That's how I would paint Nids if I could stomach it. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you were doing a Nids army, that's how you could do it. I cut off the spear part, left the shaft, and added the vehicle angel-y thing to the top like a standard. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think if you've got a little bit of determination, you will be able to get rid of that, what do you call it? You'll be able to get the banner, the new Sanguinary Guard banner on a model that doesn't have a spear. It's definitely not that too hard, and I actually drilled into the arm that I drilled into the spear arm as well. So you know how like the banner attaches? Like the banner is a single piece that attaches to a spear, and it's like a very thin piece of plastic. Like the spear that I guess has got the banner attached. You can drill into the middle of that. Because I did it last night. It took me a few attempts, and like that's probably why the video ended up being so long, because honestly it took me like 3 attempts to successfully get a nice drill hole down the middle, but when I eventually did it, it worked absolutely fine. Do I use an airbrush? No. Can you show us? Yeah, I had it just down in a minute. Oh no. So like this hand attached to here, I cut the spear there. So the spear was cut here. And then I took another spear with the banner attached and cut it just below as well. So basically cut the 2 sections of the spear right here where I've accidentally made it red, not that it really matters. Then I drilled in, so in between, like, because that's quite a lot of weight, this banner and this other sword off this tiny bit of plastic. So like inside there, I've got a bit of paper clip. So like drilled into this side, I drilled into this side, and I put a paper clip in between it with a lot of super glue. The whole video is coming. I was working on the video till late last night. It finished rendering at about I think the video finished rendering at about 11:30, and I realised I'd fucked something up in the video and it had taken like an hour to render, and I was like, ah, fuck's sake. So I guess I'm not releasing this video tonight. But the video is like 90%, so tiny little bit of work. I'll have the video out in the next couple of days. That doesn't often happen with my videos, I guess. Normally I don't mess stuff up, but do you know what? It does, you know, shit happens, I guess. I was a little bit upset because I did want it to go out yesterday. I do actually like care about how many views I get each month, and I've been trying to beat my previous months and stuff like that, so I'll get it out as soon as I can, you know? The banner pole snapped. Yeah, I mean, I could totally see those banner poles are very small. And it was actually, like I said, it was very difficult to drill into the middle of that banner pole. It took me, I think it took me 3 attempts on one end to get the to be able to drill into the middle. I guess the trick with the drill is to try and hold it as steady as you can and use the smallest drill piece that you have. Is the Vanguard worth box buying to get the suppressors? Well, the Vanguard box is the only way you're going to get suppressors. So I guess if you think suppressors are worth having, then you're going to have to buy the Vanguard box. What's all in the Vanguard box again? You get Eliminators. They don't get a lot of play right now. You get Infiltrators, which do get some play. And I forget what the third unit... There's a 4th unit in there. What's the 4th unit in the Vanguard box? So if you don't have any Infiltrators, then, I mean, you'll use the Infiltrators for sure. Eliminators don't get much play. They were really good in 9th edition. We barely see them in 10th. There was like a quirky thing for a hot minute where people could use them to double shoot, but that's been removed. No, it's not. I'm sure it's another unit of infantry, or maybe is it you get 10 infiltrators? Is that what it is? The Phobos Lieutenant? I mean, I don't see a whole lot of use for the Phobos Lieutenant. Someone was saying that suppressors were on eBay the other night, and there was a few sets up, and they were reasonably priced, so maybe eBay is the way to... Maybe it's worth having a look on eBay before you dump $87 on the Games Workshop website. It does seem strange that they would put suppressors down in points when the only way you can get them is in that giant... You get the 10 infiltrators with Helix Gauntlet. Okay. I mean, it is good to have 10 infiltrators. It does give you options having that many infiltrators. So I guess if you've got no infiltrators, it's not going to be too bad, because, I mean, maybe not so much in 10th edition, but in 9th edition and stuff, I often run 10 infiltrators, and we actually... I've been looking at like top placing Blood Angels lists this last week to make a video for Friday, and some of the top placing Blood Angels lists in the meta at the moment are actually running 10 infiltrators. So I guess if you have no infiltrators, then the suppressor box might not be too bad, but you're only going to get 3 suppressors. I wouldn't recommend buying the box twice. That's mental. William bought suppressors off eBay for $90. Well, I mean, that's the only way you can get them. It's the only way you can get them, though, right? What did you do with the other 5? The other 5 infiltrators? Antonius, good afternoon. The Dread's Tabard is indeed a 3D printed piece. I feel like it's a Crimson Lord piece, because I don't know what other 3D print piece I would have had. I think it must be one of the 3D. I've been buying my 3D prints from the Crimson Lord campaign and from Archie's Forge here in the UK. So it was one of those pieces. I just wanted this ballistas to be different from my other one, because I already have one and he's red. So I wasn't really sure. Like, originally I was thinking of spraying this. I was honestly thinking of spraying this guy gold, just because I have a red one, and I kind of hate painting black because I edge highlight the whole thing and it'll take ages. I didn't have much gold spray left, so I was like, if I use all the gold spray on him, I'm probably gonna have to buy another gold spray for the Sanguinary Guard, and the gold spray is like the most expensive spray. So I just went like, oh, screw it, he's gonna be Death Company Dreadnought, just because I don't want to paint another red Dreadnought, because I've got so many damn red Dreadnoughts. So that was the plan. I actually sprayed one of my ballistas dreadnoughts. That was probably the problem. I sprayed, that was it. I sprayed a Brutalis dreadnought red. So it's like, I've got this Brutalis that I was about to paint in red. I was like, oh, so I'm gonna have to paint what, 2 more red dreadnoughts. I've already got 3 Redemptors. I've already got a ballistas. I was like, I don't want to do a 5th red dreadnought. Jeffrey thinks that some of the chunky Primars flying around, they look goofy. William says he had to pay $80 to get a single Judasaur. I really don't know why Games Workshop keep doing this, why they have characters that are only available, you know, in like a single, in a single big box. I don't really like it. I just think it I mean, I guess it really reinforces the fact that when those fear of missing out boxes come, you should buy those fear of missing out boxes, because if you don't, like, I bought the fear of missing out box twice, so when it came to suppressors, I actually had 6 of, like, I have 6 suppressors. I can't even remember what box they came in. Was it Shadow Spear they came in? I feel like it was Shadow Spear. I don't remember buying Shadow Spear twice. Maybe I bought 3 extra ones on eBay, like when they were first out or when they were unpopular. I can't imagine why though. I never feel like I thought suppressors, like, I've never really included suppressors in my lists, so I can't imagine why I would have bought 3 extra ones unless someone gave them to me. Could you call it a red knot? I mean, I guess you could call it a red knot, but I was just sick of painting red dreadnoughts, man. It's why I ended up painting my Blade Guard gold, because I must have, when the Blade Guard came out, I must have just done like 2 or 3 squads in gold, in red before they came out. And I was like, oh my god, I'm not painting another 10 man or another 8. I think I bought 3 units of Blade Guard, so I had 9. So if you've just painted like 20 red marines, it's like, oh, I'm going to paint another 9. No, I'm not. I'm going to paint my Blade Guard gold. And Inceptors don't feel like a marine unit. I don't know, I feel like Inceptors have been in a funny place in Tonius, because it's like... The Marines have never really got... Since the Primaris Marines came out, I mean, you could argue that like the Sanguinary Guard and the Death Company are like the first really close combat units that we've had. You know, like if... Like jump intercessors are good for Blood Angels, but they're not that good for other chapters. You know, like if you take them at their base value of strength 4, they're really not that good for a lot of other chapters. So it's like the Primaris melee range is lacking, and I guess you could say that like the Inceptors feel like they're like they are a shooting unit. But they feel like they should be backing up like a melee jump pack unit, at least in my opinion. You know, like, if we can get Inceptors with Gravis armor with jump packs, why can't we have, like, jump aggressors or something? I mean, jump aggressors actually kind of sound scary, but... You know, it's like they never quite got round. I feel like Games Workshop just never quite got round to fleshing out what the jump packs should look like for the Primaris Marines. The Kill Team starter set is £20 more on Allegro. What is Allegro? I don't know what that is. Evening, Bad Francis. Grenades make it a mortal wound bomb. Do they, like... Grenades average 3 mortal wounds. Is that enough to make it feel... Jumpy Boys at 110 were spicy? Yeah, I think Inceptor, like... Inceptors... Bolter Inceptors got hurt because of the plasma ones going up in points. I think when they were 110 points, like possibly too many people were fielding the plasma variant. I mean, that too many people would have been fielding. That's why they went up in points, right? But yeah, I mean. I feel like Flamer Aggressors got hit with the same thing, right? So like Bolter Aggressors are really good, so the Aggressors got put up in points because the Bolter Aggressors... The Flamer Aggressors were probably fine where they are, but they just get nerfed. That's the one thing with the fixed weapon options. Like, I think Games Workshop probably need to do some fixes around some of those fixed weapon options where it's like... If you're running Plasma Aggressors, yeah, they're 130 points. But if you're running Bolter Aggressors, I think Bolter Aggressors at 110 points would be absolutely fine. Foss's Bolter Aggressors were... Do you know what? I've run Bolter Aggressors to multiple tournaments. I think I've run them to 2 tournaments, both times I went 4-1. Because when the Bolters were pretty good at killing chaff infantry, and they could fit anywhere because of their 3-inch deep strike roll. And I think in the previous edition, you used to be able to shoot and do an action. There was a stratagem for that. So I'd bring them in, I'd do an action like 3 inches away from an enemy unit, and I'd shoot them. And I thought that was really cool, and it was really fun. So yeah, I guess I never really disliked Inceptors. I just disliked how their points went up because too many people were taking the plasma ones. But that's always what happens when people find out the perceived strongest value. I mean, I guess it's why Death Company got nerfed as well, right? Because everybody had found out that 10 Power Fists and 10 Inferno Pistols was the best way to run Death Company, so they got nerfed. Didn't Thunderwolf Cavalry get the same thing? I miss jump dreads. You mean you missed the flying dreadnought, right? He didn't really jump, he flew. Bollocks. You got a Blood Angels set of dice from Temu. Is that... Temu's like that dodgy Chinese website, right? That's like super cheap? I must admit, I have not used them, but I have seen their adverts, Marius. I didn't even know they did 40k stuff. GW slowly learning war gear costs should cost points. Yeah, I mean, they are with the bloody... Oh, thanks so much for subscribing. George. Appreciate it, George. I just don't know if if that's something that'll change this edition. I feel like I would like to see some of those units that can't be played because their counterpart with different weapon options are screwing them. It would be nice if we saw some changes there, but I just don't know if we're gonna get to see that. You paid $1.99 for 5 dice. I mean, that's pretty cheap, and they came from China, right? Ricardo, 180 points for a Brutalist versus 150 points for a Warglavy. Math-wise, to me, it seems like the Warglavy has more kill power. What do you think? It's not, the Brutalist is actually in 160. I think you're talking about the Death Company Dreadnought. At 180. I think the Death Company Dreadnought at 180 is too expensive. I think he should be, like you said, cheaper. So what, like, is Temu basically like it's not like Amazon, like it's all resellers or something? And what is it, just luck? Like, you might get something really good or you might get something that's basically shit. Factory rejects go to Temu. I see. It's like another AliExpress. I've never ordered from AliExpress. Drizzle says just burn your money, it's more satisfying. Marius, do your dice roll 6s all the time, and will we find them in a toilet at a future GT? That's the question. Will we get another... If you guys don't know what that's about, there was a tournament down south where somebody... I believe it was at Element Games, I think. Someone was playing with weighted dice that always rolled 6s, and someone called him out on it, and he was like, no, I don't have any dice like that, and then he needed to go to the toilet, and then they found some dice in the toilet, like, they'd basically been thrown into the bowl, like where the water is, and apparently in the toilet they'd landed on the 6, of course, because they were weighted dice. Toilet dice. So he'd rolled them into the toilet and got 6s in the toilet. I don't know, man. It feels like you remember if you used to cheat on a video game when you were a kid. I still remember the cheat code for Doom, right? IDKFA. It just gave you all the guns and probably gave you a bunch of ammo for all the guns. I just found very quickly it made it boring. The irony of weighted dice not flushing. Yeah, exactly. Hey Snix, how you doing? Yeah, Brian says his dice feel like toilet dice for completely different reasons. That's valid, Brian. I've been to tournaments before where I felt like every time, like, you know, I was trying for like 7 years there to win a GT. And I feel like the amount of times I'd get to like a good position, you know, like 4 wins, 0 losses, and then get to the final table, and then just do absolute dog shit on the final table. Or I might not always get to the final table, you know, like maybe like 3 wins. So it's like a really important 4th game. I win this game, I go to the final table, and then I would just play like dog shit, or the dice would desert me. So like this time, this GT that I won recently, it was really weird, right? Like I don't know, like I was struggling with my day-to-day life. My kids are young, you know, like I work a day job and then I come home and then sometimes I work all evening on a YouTube video. And I was just struggling in general in my day-to-day life, and I don't think I've had that happen to me all that often in life. I'm quite lucky, I'm quite a positive person. But it happened to me like, maybe it was because it was like winter as well, so it probably happened to me like 10 months ago, like February in Scotland. You know, like in Scotland in February you get up and it's fucking dark, you go to bed and it's dark. You know, you can actually, like, you never, if you go to work, you never see daylight. So like I'd see daylight maybe for like 10 minutes and walk to work, and then leave work and it's pitch black again, and like that can affect your like mood and your mental health as well, because apparently like there's something like, you just, if you don't see the sun as well, that can fuck you up a bit. So I was like, I wasn't doing so well at the start of the year, and I went through this for like a month or something, and during that time I was like, right, I gotta figure out why I'm in this rut. So I started listening to like motivational books and trying to do all that sort of stuff to get out of the rut. And one of the books I listened to was Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, and like in his book he just like, he's so positive in his book, and he basically says like, if you're feeling down yourself, don't let yourself feel down, and like pick yourself up, and you know, almost overly positive, like positivity you could get sick of. I was listening to this book, and one of the things he said in this book was to like manifest what you want to happen in life. And he was talking about like the bodybuilding competitions he'd won and stuff like that. So I was like standing at the 40k table in like game 4, you know, like I've been trying to win this fucking GT for like 7 years, and like you know, like the enemy player shoots my predator tank with like his -4 melta-guns, which I still think is stupid because I thought this edition was supposed to be less killy. So like my predator tank needs to roll saves on 6s and needs to save like 2 times. And honestly, Brian, in my head, I was like, had the dice in my hand behind my back, and I'm just in my head, I'm like, I can roll 6s. I can roll 6s. I can do this, you know, I can save on 6s, that's not a problem. And like my opponent Kenny was like, John, 2 saves please, -4 AP. I was like, alright, 6s, roll the dice. Bang, 2 friggin' 6s. He's like, John, will you stop rolling like this? And I was like, yeah, Kenny, you know, and it's like the first time in my life, I suppose, where like every number that I'm needing to roll, it's just happening, like game after game, dice roll after dice roll. In the final game, against the orc player, I think I had to take 7 4-up saves on Dante, and if I failed a single one, the orc player wins the game and he wins the GT. And like the same thing's going in my head, like I can save on 4s, but you know, like I'm thinking like 7 4s, this is, you know, this isn't gonna happen. And I'm just trying to like manifest what you want, picture yourself in the situation that you want, and I don't know. So the next GT I go to, I'm going to be standing there going like, you can roll 6s, you can roll 6s, and then the dice will just fail me, and then you'll see them in the toilet. But unfortunately mine in the toilet will be 1s and 2s because they're not weighted. Yeah, my dice have a sense of humour usually. So, no, it's good. Do you think suppressors will be around next edition? Yeah, 100%. I was going to say 100% because they're Primaris. Yes? I can't imagine they're going to retire Primaris kits already. Is there new kits newer than the suppressors that have been retired, or the same age as their suppressors that have been retired, Benno? Campbell says there's suppressors on eBay for $26. Highland Phoenix, can I say hello to you? How are you? gonna try and stop touching the area that I just painted. What the hell are you doing, John? I think I need a new Mephiston Red. This one is a bit... This paint pot is probably super old. I don't use Mephiston Red much on my regular Marines. I only use it on like Death Company. I use Evil Sun Scarlet on regular Marines. Oh yeah, all the Stormcast were retired. Yeah, good point. You should buy a UV light for your desk. What does the UV light let me see? Who didn't use God mode and no clip mode in Half-Life in the past? I heard that Half-Life, I think, was it the first one or the second one? I think it's Half-Life 2. I think I heard that Half-Life 2 is going to be like 20 years old, and I was like, oh my god. I'm old, man. I still can't believe they didn't do Half-Life 3, like, what the fuck, Valve? Come on. Surely that game would have sold a lot of copies. Everybody fucking loved Half-Life 2. And it ended on such a cliffhanger as well. Didn't it end with like... I was going to say it's been like... I was going to say it's 20 years. Didn't it end with like Alex's dad pinned up against the wall or something by one of those aliens? A UV light simulates the sun? Oh, right, to help with how you feel in the winter months in Scotland. I'm with you. I didn't even know that was a thing. Does that actually make a difference? I think for me this year it was, hopefully it's a one-off. So if we go back to the start of the year, my youngest kid had just turned 2 because my kid was born in December. And when your kids are 2, man, they're fucking tough work. They can almost communicate with you, but they just scream and cry all the time. So I think if we, like, going forward, I don't think I'm going to have... I think I'm out of it. Plus, I've started this new exercise routine, which has helped me which has made me feel like a lot better as well. So I'm going to the gym 4 times a week. I've been doing that for 5 months now. And yeah, I mean, I think that helps a lot with your mental health too. Do I prefer Evil Sun Scarlet? I think it gives a more old school feel to Red Marines. Like, Mephiston Red to me is more of a grungy, grim dark feel. Evil Sun Scarlet is more like an old school bright feel for like 2nd edition Marines, which is when I started painting. And in fact, I think Evil Sun Scarlet, because the paints used to have different names, Brian. And I think there used to be a paint that I started with, a Blood Angel, a Games Workshop paint called Blood Red. And I think Blood Red was closer to Evil Sun Scarlet than it is to Mephiston Red. So I think I painted a lot of my original models with Blood Red. So it made sense for me to stay on with the... So I like the Blood Red or the Evil Sun Scarlet on regular Blood Angels, and I'll use the darker red. Sometimes it depends, like Mephiston, I don't think I used Evil Sun on him. I think I did more Mephiston Red on him. So like it just gives you an option to go a bit darker, a bit grimier if you want it, I guess. You saw a lot of Blood Red on eBay a few days ago. Those paints have been discontinued a decade at this point, yeah? You know what's not good for mental health? Working as much as you do. Yeah, Andonius, I do know that, but I'm kind of a workaholic. My hobby is Warhammer, though, right? like I do have a gaming PC, and I do occasionally play games. It's not like I don't play games. But the thing about Warhammer for me is I can meet people and I can make friends. Gaming's kind of it's more isolationist, I guess. Oh, you work too much. Oh, right, okay, I thought you were making... I know I work too much, but hey, the first sign of knowing you have a problem is admitting it to yourself, right? Like, I justify that I work too much by the fact that, like, half my work these days is done on YouTube. And I don't know if I don't necessarily class YouTube as work. Sometimes I do. I guess when I'm tired and I don't want to make a video, I class it as work. When I'm just hanging out and painting, which is what I would be doing anyway, then I just class it as enjoyment, right? So for me, it's like my hobby. But no, I get what you're saying. It's hard to not work. I think it gives you purpose though as well. How many hours how many hours a week are you working, Antonius? I use Evil Sun for my Blood Angels too. I prefer the brighter reds. The cool thing about Evil Sun, I find, is that with Evil Sun, you don't need to do any well, I don't do any edge highlighting. I just wash the whole model in Agrax and I'm done. So it's like, if I went Mephiston Red, I feel like I'd probably end up edge highlighting it to like make it brighter, whereas with Evil Sun it's already bright. So I'll start nice and bright, I'll just wash it pretty liberally with the Agrax and then I'm done. Evil Sun has changed a bit. It's a bit more brown now. Man, I do hate it when they screw with the existing paint colours. I don't want change. I want my paints to be consistent. You consistently 50 to 55. You know what? I used to do that, man. I did 55 hours for probably about a decade. Like when I was saving to buy my house. I just decided like 1 year this was like back in 2010. So I didn't have enough money to buy a house, and the house market's, you know, it's hard to get a house. So I just said to myself, like, I'm allowed 15 hours a week overtime. I'm going to do that until I get a house. And I did it for like 10 years. But I think that's the thing, that once you commit to it and you've got a plan and you've got a goal, I actually think it becomes easier. But I'm one of these people that needs a goal. Alright, you don't get anything extra for... Well, I was going to say you need to keep a record of all your hours, and next time you've got a salary review, tell your boss, I've been doing all these extra hours, man. Hook a brother up. Yeah, I feel like I should have included suppressors in my army list, because we've talked about them a lot, but we don't really see them breaking into the competitive scene yet from what I've seen. I've been looking at like win rates, and I've been looking at top performing Blood Angels lists just this last few days or whatnot, and I feel like suppressors haven't really managed to break through that noise I mean, maybe it'll happen yet. But no, I'm not seeing many people run suppressors, I must admit. As I've got older, unfortunately the sound of my PlayStation puts me to sleep. 30 minutes into any game, I'm out like a baby. Yeah, I remember the days I used to be able to play video games all night. Happy days, huh, William? No, I have to be really into a game now if I don't want to fall asleep, I get you. But I feel it also just has to do with being exhausted from looking after the kids, though. I feel like if I didn't have to do that, I'd probably be in a good better space. Any big surprises in the competitive lists? Yeah, so that's the video I'm working on for Friday. Like, I've picked like some of the top. Like, I basically looked at all the winning results over like since the new codex came out. And I've got a slide I'm working on that's like looking at the trends and looking at like what's getting picked. Do you know what the biggest surprise? Actually, there is a big surprise. I mean, you'll need to watch my video on Friday to get all the rundown. But I want to say the biggest surprise is Double Gladiator Lancer is not performing as well as we all expected or perceived, right? Like, if you look at most of the lists that have done really well in tournaments as Blood Angels, Double Gladiator Lancer is not a staple. It's not even... Yeah, it's way less than I thought. Like, for being such a... For being perceived as such a strong thing in the meta, it's not performing nearly as high as it is being perceived as. So that's probably the biggest surprise. Because most people, when you, like, you know, when you look at army lists and you go, oh, you're doing ballistic dreadnoughts, they'd be like, oh, you'd be better off with Gladiator Lancers, right? You know, I feel like that's the perceived thing. Mike says his Lancer did nothing in the last game. I think you need two Lancers, though, right? I think you can't run one and expect much. It just doesn't have the weight of fire. So I think that's why we expected to see people running double Lancer. I think double Lancer is a hell of a lot better than one. But it does not seem like it's performing as well as we might have expected in the tournament scene. One of the lists I looked at, Cambo, did indeed have Reavers in it, though. So, I mean, Reaver enjoyers or supporters will be happy. Reavers did well in a tournament. Those damn Reavers. I was hoping we could write them off as someone's, like, crazy brain fart that doesn't actually mean anything. I haven't decided if I will play Reavers in a game yet. No, we're not spamming Reavers. You've taken that too far. Double Lancer is a bit pricey. It's perceived as very, very strong, though. Like, people really thought it was going to be the hottest pick in the meta, I feel like. Is that why we're painting the ballistas? Yeah, my next list is going to be double ballistas. I've been running a single ballistas for like 6 months at this point, man. Since May, I've been running the double ballistas. Sorry, the single ballistas. And it was in my tournament list back in June. A single ballistas. But I'm going double. I'm trying it for the first time. I was supposed to be trying it right now, but my opponent tonight had to cancel on me. So we'll be trying the double ballistas. I was going to say this time next week. We'll be trying it against Death Guard. It's probably going to be useful against Death Guard because We can maybe pop off some Terminators. We can maybe pop off some tanks. So I think double ballistas will actually, like Death Guard will be a matchup. There's actually quite a bit of value in those long range ballistas. The Sanguinary was actually, I think, really fun to use, but it doesn't feel like a 140 point unit. I think the Sanguinary can feel like a 140 point unit, but I guess he probably feels like that in very specific matchups. You know, like, I think into orcs or something he could be very, very strong. Or maybe Eldar he could be very strong, but I tried the Sanguinary a few times in 10th edition. He doesn't really fit the playstyle I'm going for. I'm usually trying to take like a hybrid approach anyway, so I don't have a ton of extra points to throw around in the 140 point character, because I usually got some tanks and shit, so I don't hate him, he's just not for me, I guess. I did try him, people really wanted me to try him. I tried him on stream and he didn't perform, and yeah, he just doesn't fit the style that I'm trying to play so much. You know what, the other thing, there was one other big surprise actually, when we're talking about competitive lists, is Blood Angels, a lot of Blood Angels players are playing very hero hammer lists. Like, we're talking lots of characters. Like 600 plus points of characters is very common. I wouldn't have thought that, but it is. It's super common. Benno's got 2 ballistuses in his list. You got any other tanks, Benno, or is it just the ballistuses? Corpse Monkey. I'll be giving Kenneth Rex a go in an upcoming game. Has anyone had any luck with him? He was, before this recent patch, he was perceived as the strongest knight. They did put him up in points, but I think he's still pretty strong. I do not own a Canis Rex, but I mean, sustained on 5s, good shooting, good in melee, he is strong. And also, when the knight dies, you can hide the little character to stop the enemy scoring points as well, which is pretty strong too. So, good luck using Canis Rex. I think he's a good pick. I honestly think he's a good pick, even though they increased his points. I think he went up like 25 points. I think he's still a good pick. I think he's still good for supporting Blood Angels. Come back and let us know how you get on with him, Corpse Monkey. Chris says, hey, I'm new to Blood Angels. What kind of style would you recommend for the base of a Death Company unit? There's lots of options. When you say the base, you're basically talking about the actual base he's standing on, right? You're not talking about like how to make your own base, what colour to paint it. That's what you're talking about, Chris? Hello Volkahar, I've run Rex with my Knight army, he's really strong, says Rich T. Yeah, I think he's still strong for Allied army as well. I like him, I think he's a good choice. So for the base they stand on, one thing that you can definitely do that's super easy is Games Workshop texture paints. So these are paints with like sand or other components inside them that will give you a textured base. Either use one of your super old paintbrushes you don't care about, or get like one of these style tools. Let's see if I've got one. Like this sort of thing to spread the texture paint around. I use Technical Armageddon Dust, which is basically, it's basically Xandri dust. So if you ever need to touch it up, you just need Xandri dust, which is a normal paint. And it's basically Xandri dust with sand inside it, for lack of a better. So it comes out super gloopy. You're gonna put it up like this. You're gonna put it down in the base and then spread it around. Once it's it's going to take a lot longer to dry. Once it's dried, you probably just want to hit it with a wash or something like that. So there's what I'm doing. That's the Xandri dust. Sorry, that's the Armageddon dust. Followed by like a wash of Agrax Earthshade, which is just like a brown wash. And then it's a dry brush of Skull, Tyrant Skull. So that's the texture paint, then a wash, then a dry brush. But I would say I'm doing probably not the most common. There is a red paint. Someone tell me the name of the red texture paint. It's like a bright red. Blood Angels come from the planet. Well, they come from 2 planets, but the Baal system, Baal Primaris and Baal Secundus, and those planets are sand/arid planets. I suppose a bit like Mars. So imagine the red that you get on Mars. Surely someone in chat uses the red texture paint. I don't use it. I think it might be called Astrogranite. But I don't know if that was out. It's called Martian Iron Crust, is it? Brian says. Martian Iron Earth. Cool. Guys, you rock. Thank you so much. Let's have a quick look on... Let me flip my camera over. Can you see my screen? Yes. Games Workshop. Martian. Yeah, so you can get Martian Iron Earth. This has got a special, this has got like a special coating inside it that causes it to like break like that. Or you can get that. So there's 2 types basically of the red texture paint. You're probably best like taking this Martian Iron Crust and just firing it into Google. See, so those are the cracked ones. So I think this guy's using both. So I think the Iron Crust is this bit, and the Iron Earth is the edges. So if you want to go Martian, which kind of makes sense for Blood Angels potentially, because we do come from a red planet. So if you want them on the red planet, that's what you want to do. At the time I chose, I seem to do everything fucking different. So I probably was doing my guys in red and wasn't sure about putting them on red bases. So I used whatever the hell I'm using, Armageddon Dust. And there's a grey version as well. Astrogranite is the grey version, sorry. So pick one of those, Chris. They're on the Games Workshop website called Texture Paints. They come in a bigger bottle. They're twice the price of normal paints. I would say like a bottle of this probably bases like 50 guys. Or maybe like 30 guys in a dreadnought or 2. It's super easy. Like I said, just using... it's going to ruin your brush. So use an old brush you don't care about, or go to Amazon and buy like modeling tools like the... I got a pack of like 10 of those silver modeling files for like $5, maybe $10. They're a little expensive when doing the whole army. Yeah, I mean, like I said, probably... You probably get 50 guys out of one pot, right? Something like that. There is other manufacturers that are maybe a bit cheaper than Games Workshop. I just tend to always fall back on the Games Workshop stuff because it's what I've always used. You are very welcome, Chris, no problem. I based my entire inaugural army for Age of Sigma in Valhalla Blizzard. It's so not worth it. It was probably $80 on texture paint alone. Valhalla Blizzard is a white paint that they have as well. That's a Games Workshop one. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, people are probably right in chat that you can do it cheaper if you look around. If you're just... I mean, that's the thing with Games Workshop stuff, is you pay a little bit more, but is it convenient? Yes. Hello, Sir Bessie. How you doing? Guys, if you got 2 seconds tonight, if you can leave me a like on the stream, I would appreciate that. It always does help the channel out so much. Basically, if videos get 100 likes, YouTube just decides that those videos are not shit, and then it will show it to more people, and that helps me out ever so much. So anytime you're in a video we've got less than 100 likes, I would love it if you would consider pressing that button. You know, good stuff. Is this guy going in an army? Yes, 100%. Would have been fielding him tonight, even though he's horribly unpainted. So I'm gonna field him next Wednesday. He'll be battle ready at the minimum by Wednesday. I already used one Ballistus Dreadnought in my list, so I'm basically just adding a second. I thought they were fine at 140 points. I think at 130 points they're just a little bit even more attractive. The Vallejo paints are apparently in a bigger bottle and a little bit cheaper. Do you know what? I actually really do like Vallejo paints. I only have a couple, but the ones that I've used have been really good coverage on them as well. So yeah, I guess if you're willing to spend some time and effort researching which texture paint, the only thing I would say is, like, if you're gonna get a texture paint, just make sure you're 100% on it, right? Because I started my army and now you're stuck with it, you know? Like, I've seen other people's Blood Angels on the red bases and I've thought, fuck, that looks pretty good. So I would do a bit of Googling around and maybe try and find various Blood Angels armies on different bases and see which one you actually resonate. That's not the right word. Resonate with? God, English. English is hard. Basically, whichever one you think looks dopest. Resonate, thank you. Yeah, I was close. Nurgle is giving us a super chat tonight. Nurgle, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. It was supposed to be a game against Nurgle tonight, so that'll be next Wednesday. Dude, thanks so much for the $1.99. I do really appreciate it. Yeah, I will be here consistently every week. I don't know, I actually don't know how I'd fill my evenings if I didn't do the YouTube channel now. Anytime that, like, I don't have a video to make or I have a night off, I kind of just sit around and not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. I need to get a new video game for the odd night off that I do have, because I've just got nothing that I'm... My wife likes to watch a lot of crap on Netflix, and for me, I don't know, man. I do like to watch TV, but I have to be really into it, I guess. Bush is on a 4-game win streak in my beginners league now that I finally figured out how to use jump back troopers. The BA Commander video has been a great help. Dude, you're most welcome. Congratulations on your 4-game win streak. It feels good, right, when you finally hit that point where you're like, I now know how to play my army, I now know what I should be doing. And then after that, I think it's just repetition, man. Like, you just need to play more games, you just need to play against more enemies. And I was trying to tell my friend Andrew, because That's Colin won his first tournament with Death Guard, and the one thing to say about Colin is he does play Death Guard all the time. You know, like, so I feel like if you play the same army all the time, you get to a point where you know what every unit can do. You've been in that situation with that unit multiple times before. You know how to use the unit, and I think Andrew likes to jump around army to army, and I'm trying to tell him, I was like, dude, I think you should seriously just pick an army and play it for like 6 months or a year. What's my favourite video game of all time? Or right now? Because I was quite enjoying Space Marine 2. I do actually want to finish Space Marine 2. I was like halfway through it. Maybe during the Christmas holidays I'll finish it. Oh! So Rebasing, thanks so much for subscribing, dude. Welcome to the channel. I don't play Age of Sigmar. I have some Age of Sigmar models. I've just never found time. So I'm too invested in 40k because I've got look behind me, look at all these shelves. I've got so many games. Over the years I've collected a lot of games. And I find that if I didn't do YouTube, I would play more games. But YouTube eats up a bunch of evenings. And I don't know. I mean, when my kids are older, I'm planning on playing some games, you know, with my kids. But at the moment, no, I don't play Age of Sigmar. I think I am going to get an Eldar army though, because basically I'm going to get it at a very discounted price, or a very reasonable price, I feel like. So I'm going to have an Eldar army, so I'm going to basically get a second army. Whether or not I'm going to play it particularly is unknown, but I'll have all the models, which will be a start. Warhammer Battle Sector is good. Yeah, I enjoy Battle Sector. I liked Chaos Gate as well. I never completed Battle Sector. I never completed Chaos Gate. I guess I have a problem finishing games. I jump into them, I play them for a little while, I enjoy them, and then that's it. Is that a Lord of Change head on the Dreadnoughts base? It is a decapitated Lord of Change's head. Do you like? I thought you might like that, DTM. I feel like it needs a dry brush of something to... I don't really know how to paint a Lord of Change because I don't do any Zinj. What colour would you draw? I painted it, I gave it a coat of this over the black, but it doesn't feel like it's... I mean, you can see some of it, but it doesn't feel like it's really taken... Before it dried, it looked a lot more blue, or a lot more... Yeah, I guess this is dark blue. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Do I put a second coat of the contrast on it? I don't really use contrast paint. Yeah, Colin gave me the head of a Keeper of Secrets and the head of a Bloodthirster of Khorne. You know how they come with like a second head in the box? So he gave me both those heads because he didn't need them. I think the trade-off was he wanted a Blood Angel's head to put on the base of like one of his models, and I was like, well, if you want a Blood Angel's head or a Space Marine head to put on the base of one of your models, I want heads to put on the bases of my models. So I put this Bloodthirster head on the base of Dante. I am working on Dante, and he's got a ways to go as well. I feel like I'm working on a lot of projects at the moment. Dry brush it will light up perfectly. Which colour though? Which is the most difficult army to go up against in 10th edition? For Blood Angels, I hate going up against Grey Knights, man. Adwich has been a bit on a Valheim kick recently. I saw that game. I thought it might be quite fun, but I think you need friends to play Valheim, right? Is the best 10-man Death Company Marine loadout 3 Power Fists, 2 Eviscerators, 1 Infernal Pistol, and 2 Plasma Pistols. Daryl, you're actually missing a set. You're allowed 2 Infernal Pistols in that squad. So what you said is kind of right, but you're missing 1 Infernal Pistol. You can also, if you want, not saying this is a must, but you can swap out the 2 Infernal Pistols for Plasma Pistols. So you're basically allowed 4 Special Pistols. You've got 3 in the one that you linked there. You can go 2 Infernal, you can go 2 Plasma, or you could go 4 Plasma if you know. Sometimes Infernal Pistols can be a bit of a trap because they do have a very, very short range. And typically when you're moving Death Company about, the amount of times I've moved Death Company models around and then been like, oh crap, I didn't put them within 6 inches for the Infernal Pistols, or the guys at the back of the squad that have the Infernal Pistols are just out of 6 inches. Like, it's not super easy, and I forget that shit, so I'm sure if you're less experienced then you're likely to forget it at least some point. Any blue contrast speed paint over a white base coat will work for that. I'd use High Lord blue and Magic blue, but that's just what I've got handy. I do not have either of those 2 paints. I don't really want to buy a new paint just for the Keeper's Secrets head, so I'll improvise. I'll maybe just mix some of the contrast paint with some lighter paint. Like, I've got like Temple Guard blue. I'll just paint another coat of it over, and then from wherever we're at that point, I'll just improvise, I guess. I mean, it's supposed to be dead. I could always, if I'm not happy with it, I'll put some blood splatters over the top of it. What colour blood do Great Unclean, not Great Unclean ones, Lords of Change, have they still got red blood? Hello Gamble, how you doing? You're more than welcome, Daryl. No problem. Random question, new to the hobby. Can you no longer under Thunderhammers and Death Company with jump packs? Yeah, that's... I think the only time you can give a Death Company with jump pack a Thunderhammer... Sorry, no, only time you can give a Death Company with... You can give 1 Thunderhammer to the squad on foot. But yeah, Thunderhammers are gone from Death Company with jump packs. What's messed up about that is the loadout that everybody was making like a year ago or whatnot. Everybody spent loads of money on eBay and third-party bits, and everybody did conversions and bought extra kits to make those Death Company with Thunderhammers, and they're just not even a thing anymore. In some ways it's probably a good thing that Games Workshop have got rid of all the customization, because the amount of times people got screwed over. As much as we don't want to admit that we're, you know, like that we lost customization, we're okay with it. Everybody got screwed over buying kits and models that they couldn't have anymore. We knew it was coming, says Krychek. Yeah, I mean, we sort of did, didn't we? Some of us were in denial, though, Krychek, which doesn't make it any easier. Do you think that they'll kill the Baal Predator in 11th edition? Oh, that is a tough question, man. I'm gonna say yes, because I think they will get rid of... And hey, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, cool, right? Like, I think they will get rid of every Firstborn unit and tank except the Land Raider in 11th edition. because I just think that everything else is small comparatively, and they've already got rid of so much stuff. Basically all that's left is some of the tanks, and I think they're just wanting to refresh the whole Marine range. And the fact that they don't tell us anything makes me think, like, you know, like, they could come out tomorrow and say, hey guys, we are planning on not refreshing any of the Firstborn tanks in 11th edition, so if you want to go out and buy a Firstborn tank, they'll be fine all the way through 11th edition, right? If they came out and said that, they'd make a fuckload of sales, right? Because I bet you a lot of people, myself included, like, I haven't bought any Firstborn stuff now for... Well, I think I basically haven't bought any Firstborn stuff since 10th edition came out, because I felt like I lost too many units when 10th edition came out to Legends. The Legends, half the models that I own, it hurt me too much. I haven't bought anything since. So I think they could come out tomorrow and say, we're not planning on Legends any, and they'll make a ton of sales, right? And if that was what their plan, if that was their plan, why would they not just do that? Because people are waiting. I don't think... I feel like I watch other YouTubers that say the same things. Like, I don't think Games... Although Games Workshop don't necessarily communicate with some of us YouTubers, like, I don't have any communication with them at all, I don't think they're... I don't want to say naive, but I don't think they're not aware of what people are saying, right? Like, I'm sure they're aware that Blood Angels players didn't love the new Sanguinary Guard kit, and as such, the guy that did the Crimson Lords campaign had like 100 and some thousand on his kicks, his My Mini page or whatever. What was the final number on that My Mini factory thing? My Mini. What did he actually make? Holy crap, it's more than I thought it was. He made 147,000. Wow. Yeah, like, I don't think Games Workshop... I don't think... I'd be very surprised if no one in Games Workshop just had a quick meeting like, hey, did you guys know that those Blood Angels parts made 147,000? There's definitely an audience for these parts that we basically screwed up on by not releasing. But I mean, this is all just hearsay, this is all just my opinion, right? I saw it when it was like 100,000, I didn't realise it was up at 150 now. Good for him though, I mean, he kind of got the perfect storm, right? He was releasing them just as the new kits came out, and and the new kits were missing all the pieces that everybody wanted. I know I've got like 400 bucks of Crimson Lords bits lying around, some of which I bought, some of which were sent to me for free because of the channel, but still. Nurgle Haas says they would definitely get a sale off him, he's been sat waiting around as well. Well, that's just the thing, like, I think there's a lot of people that will wait around. Like, we're not stupid, we're not going to throw our money away if we think it's not going to be valid, so... Yeah, that's crazy. It basically shows that if Games Workshop had made a good Sanguinary Guard / Death Company upgrade sprue, they could have probably done it in a one-er. They could have probably if they'd made a good upgrade sprue, arguably there was like 500,000 probably. Because if the 3D printed campaign made 150,000, there would have been a lot of sale, like third parties are already selling those pieces and blah blah blah. It's crazy, man. It'll be so easy as well for like 75 likes tonight. Oh, cool. Thanks for hitting the like button. Speak for yourself. I'm perfectly capable of throwing money away. Hey, what non-Blood Angels units do you fit really well in a Blood Angels army? Don't say jump intercessors. The units that I think are awesome right now are Centurions, Assault Centurions, but I'm not sure if they're going Legends, so I probably wouldn't recommend them. Blade Guard Veterans are super awesome for Blood Angels right now. They're probably... Maybe they're my favourite unit with the new Codex, honestly. Maybe they're even more of a favourite unit to me than the new Sanguinary Guard and the new Death Company rules. So I think Blade Guard are awesome. Infiltrators are awesome. Super competitive. Super clutch. Impulsors. What else? I like Outriders a lot. Not many people seem to like Outriders, but I really like them. And if we need one more, let me think one more. I think Terminators. With bolters, because I think the Assault Terminators are garbage at the moment. So Terminators with bolters and power fists. Give them a cyclone missile launcher, give them a flamer, it's up to you, I don't really care. Are the shoulders helmets of the Firstborn Death Company box a pretty seamless transition onto the Primaris Marines? Yes, they're 100% seamless. They'll I've got a Primaris Marine right here with a Firstborn shoulder pad on him. This is a Primaris Marine with the new Primaris Eviscerator. That's the Firstborn shoulder on him. He's got a Firstborn head on him as well, actually. So this guy is basically got the two pieces you're asking about on him. Are they seamless? Yes, they're 100% seamless. My autofocus is really pissing me off. I had to update the app. I just feel like the autofocus is just not the same as it was before. Leon lost tonight in a game against Blood Angels. You can't beat the Blood Angels, Leon. You should have known that going in. Scuba, be interesting to see if GW drops the ball on the EC upgrades too. Yeah, and I think Space Wolves are probably the next army that's going to get a bit of a... Caroline went to a big tournament and got 6-0. Was that with Blood Angels, Caroline? Congrats on going 6-0, that's hard. Scouts? Yeah, Angel of Death. You are right, Scouts are a good unit. How's the Death Company Dreadnought going? I mean, this isn't a Death Company Dreadnought, this is a Ballistus Dreadnought. I'm just painting Death Company. What's that on the base? It's the fucking decapitated head. Excuse me for my swearing. It's got late at night. After like 10 o'clock, we just start swearing. It's the decapitated head of a Keeper of Secrets. I mean, it's a bit weird that its tongue's rigid, but I never really thought about that when I was decapitating its head. Maybe it's in like its death scrawl, you know, it's like Aah! And its tongue's still flapping around. My Dreadnought shot it off with a las cannon. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm building a Death Company Dreadnought right now. Oh, you play Blood Angels? I thought you said you lost to Blood Angels. Oh, you played Mirror. Oh, right, you played Mirror Match. Hey, Nomac, how you doing? How do you rate Godhammer Land Raiders? I'm taking 2 in my next game, transporting big squad, ranged anti-tank, and something tough to give more presence. Land Raiders go both ways, man. In some matchups, they are insanely strong. If your opponent cannot kill, a toughness 12 vehicle with a 2-up save, and it does happen, right? Like, they have nothing, they have no real dedicated long-range anti-tank. 2-up save is pretty good. You can obviously pop smoke for -1 to hit and ignore 1 AP, and you can armor of contempt. So you've got 2 CP, you can make your Land Raider -1 to hit and ignore 2 AP. So if the best thing they've got in their army, let's say, is las cannons, then they only wound you on 4s, and you're actually only -1, so you're saving on 3-ups and they're -1 to hit. So in that case, your Land Raiders will feel god tier, right? Like, it's like, oh, I can save for days on 3-ups. My Land Raiders are amazing. And then the very next game, you'll play against a Knight who has a volcano cannon that does minimum 9 damage. It's D6 plus 8 from the volcano cannon, and it's AP 5, and I think it's strength 24 from the volcano cannon. So volcano cannon now wounds your Land Raider on a 2, and you do not get a save because it's -5. So even if you play armor of contempt, you only save on a 6, and on average it's doing 11 or 12 damage a shot. I think the volcano cannon gets like D3 shots. So if you get hit a couple of times from a volcano cannon, you're basically instantly incinerated and you just lost 240 points. So Land Raiders they're a weird one, right? Because if you pick them, they're going to be amazing in some matches, and then you play against the Knights and you feel like, oh my god, these Land Raiders are just liability, because the second they pop out of, the second the Knights get line of sight on them, they just evaporate. So yes, how do I feel about Land Raiders? I was feeling pretty good about them. I actually had 2 of them in my army list until I ran into Knights. And then my army list changed and I dropped both Land Raiders, because basically in turn 1, the fucking volcano cannon killed 1 Land Raider. In turn 2, the volcano cannon killed another Land Raider. And then I was like, wow, I just lost 500 points and they basically did nothing. So, yeah. If you don't, like I said, some armies, they'll feel great. If you fight Knights with volcano cannons, they feel pretty horrific. Got advice for going against other armies like World Eaters? Yeah, shoot the World Eaters, man. World Eaters are better at combat than us in every single way. You literally basically never want to be fighting World Eaters in combat with full strength units. You want to shoot as many of them off the board as you can before you fight them. Because even like their cheap characters like Karn gets like fucking 10 attacks. Thankfully no Knights in your group. Then you're good, Dustin. Or Dust and Polos, you're good. Just be aware that like when you come to that tournament, people sometimes talk about like Knights being a stat check army. So Knights sometimes just basically check that your list can do lots of different things. One of the things that your list needs to do if you fight against Knights is, you know, kill a lot of high toughness armored enemy. So they sometimes call it a stat check, and I think that if you're running double Land Raider, you'll probably find if you run into Knights. And bear in mind, sometimes they can be allied. I think when I changed my list, my Land Raider list, I played Grey Knights, and the Grey Knights were allied to Knight Castellan, and it was rough. Any value in a 3-man Blade Guard squad? Yes. Statistically, a 3-man Blade Guard squad for 90 points will basically wipe out like a 5-man unit of intercessors or something similar, right? Like if you think about it, like, so 3 Blade Guard, 15 attacks for Blood Angels. If you use their ability, it's 77% chance to hit, so that'll be like 11 or 12 hits. Give me strength 7, so wounding on 3s. So probably 6 or 7 wounds or something like that. Enemy saving on 5s if they got a 3-up save. So like I said, 4 or 5 failed saves. So like if you're just if you just got 90 points left and you actually want a unit that can kill, because I don't think intercessors are really a unit that can kill on their own. I mean, maybe assault intercessors, but sometimes people already got 3 of those in your list. So yeah, I mean, I think Blade Guard and squads of 3 are totally fine. I think they're quite good, actually. Just, we don't actually see too many people run them. But if, like, pretty easy to hide 3 Blade Guard as well. Send them down one flank, go after like a weak enemy position. 3 is good for holding an expansion objective as well, yeah? I mean, 3 wound per model, 4 up in Van. Yeah, we just don't see them. But I think they're... I've run 3-man Blade Guards before, I like them. I actually thought for a while the best way to play them was the 3. I guess things changed a bit when you got the ability to like fight first and stuff. You can't be arsed to do the math, I appreciate it. Do you know what's funny is like... I have my dad to thank for my math, because I was raised in a different time, and my dad was a math teacher, and get this, if I couldn't do the math quick enough in my head, I used to get hit. Like actual like times tables, if I can't do the times table quick enough, I just got hit. I mean, it wasn't really a malicious hit, but I still got hit. I think I had to stand like with my hand out like this. I'm pretty sure that was it. And he'd say like 6 8s, and like you would count to 3, and if I couldn't do it quick enough, just got hit. But it's come back to help me pretty good at Warhammer. You know, like if you're on the clock in Warhammer and you need to know how much damage a unit does, I can work out in my head pretty fucking quick. Your old man was a physics teacher, relatable, yeah? Different times, man. Different times, I swear to you. Is the tabard for the Crimson Lord set? Is that the tabard from the Crimson Lord set? I got a bunch of different dreadnought tabards. I feel like this might be one of them, but there was like 3 different tabards. I don't actually think this was the Ballistus... Sorry, I think this was a Ballistus Dreadnought tabard, which wasn't part of the Crimson. I think the Crimson... I've got one of them already stuck on another Dreadnought. Give me 1 second here. I think this was the Crimson Lord tabard, or one of them, because there's 2, right? So this was the Crimson Lord Ballistus upgrade set, where it had, because again there was 2 of these, so it had this piece, the shoulder pad, the tabard, the other shoulder pad, the Sanguinius type 1, this other piece here, and then there was knee pads, but I'd already started in the Dreadnought, and I'd already built like the knees, like I was too far gone. And I wasn't going to rip this one apart. I do have one more Ballistus Dreadnought that I haven't built. So I'll get the custom upgrades on its knees when I come to build it. But honestly, the Ballistus Dreadnought is in like 11 parts. This guy on the right, like it was 11 part, it was like 13 parts, I think. I built 2 of these in an hour. This guy here was like 115 parts. Took me 5 hours to build one of them. And I was like, I do not care for models that take 5 hours to build. Like I just want them to be done. Do they need to be 100 million parts? I
have awoken.
Evening, Mike. How you doing? Just won a tight game versus Tau. With us both running bonkers list, I brought a Knight, Desolators, a Whirlwind, Infernus and Reavers. Wow. How'd you find the Infernus Marines? Do you actually think they were any good, Mike, or were they just filler? I also bought 2 Brutalises and a Death Company Dread. Yeah, so you've had fun building all those dreads. Matthew, thank you so much for becoming a battle brother. Do appreciate the ongoing support, Matthew. You're always supporting the channel. Thank you very, very much. Very kind of you. I felt it took longer to build the Brutalis than the Knight, says Badwood Project. Yeah, it took me like 3 streams, and I usually stream for like 2 hours to build that Brutalis Dreadnought. And I fucked up its hands. which I didn't realise until, like, again, the point of no return, in that, like, the hands... There's 2 variants of the hands or some nonsense, and I fucked it up. I don't think it's super obvious when you look at it, but, like, it's definitely... I think I didn't realise that the talons and the claws had slightly different hand parts, so I managed to fuck it up. How fast is a Gladiator Lancer to build? Mike's been just building one for me in the chat. I don't actually know how fast a Gladiator Lancer is to build. Don't build Magnus. Is he like a million parts as well, is he? Are the Crimson Lord parts usable in the Brutalis as well? I think some of them will be. Some of them probably won't be, because the shoulder pads for the Ballistus are different, right? You might be able to do something with the Ballistus Dreadnought, but I don't think you'll be able, like, because the shoulder pads on these ones are like big hunking shoulder pads that cover like the arm joints, I guess, whereas in like these are completely different shoulders, right? Like these would not fit over the top of the las cannons, if that makes sense. Infernus basically got to shoot a single guy, then died. Sounds about accurate. Darryl says he's still building his. It didn't come with the base. What didn't come with the base? Your dreadnought? I kind of accidentally brought a Brutalis because it was so cheap. Yeah, I mean, no one was running Brutalises for a while, so I mean, I guess it makes sense that they were potentially quite cheap. Antonia says, I don't enjoy how many parts kits are these days. Yeah, I think sometimes simpler is better, man. Like, I guess it's a double-edged sword, Andonius, because it's like sometimes when we get those easy-to-build kits, like with the new boxes, like the Leviathan box, people are not satisfied with that because they're like, it's monopose. And I must admit, sometimes I am in that camp of like, I don't like monopose miniatures. I like to be able to give the miniatures some customization, but at the same time, like, I don't know if I need, like, you know, every leg or every jump pack, or, you know, like, for me, usually customization comes in the form of, like, weapon options, helmets, shoulder pads. That's, like, my level of customization. And I guess in the case of Sanguinary Guard, wings. Because how can you have a Sanguinary Guard without wings? I actually spent ages last night converting one of the new Sanguinary Guard and making a video for it, but I fucked up the render, so I couldn't. The render didn't finish till like 11:30, and I was super tired because it took like an hour to render. And then I was like, so I've got a video of like my converting one of the new Sanguinary Guard. I just didn't manage to get it released last night. I found the army box for $200. Do you think it's good value? It's fine. I don't know if I necessarily think it's great value at 200, but it's still valuable because you get 10 assault intercessors with jump packs. Sorry, 10 assault intercessors with jump packs. They're currently sold in like 2 boxes. Each box is like $40. You get the 10 guys on foot. Again, they're like $40. You get a dreadnought. Dreadnoughts are like 50, so that's already like about 130. You get the codex, which would be 30, so it's like 160. You get 4 upgrade sprues. Well, those upgrade sprues are like 25. So at that point, you're already like 260. You get another character. They're usually like 25. That's like 270. You get a transfer sheet. It's a different transfer sheet, but I mean, it's still a transfer sheet. Just call it like $10. So it's like the value in that box, if you bought it from Games Workshop, would be like $280. Bear in mind, you can buy it from you could have bought it from a reseller and get it a bit cheaper. So if you bought it from a reseller previously, the value in that box was probably somewhere in the region of like 240. So I guess if you've got it on eBay at 200, I mean, there's probably still value in that rich tea. You're just not getting as good value as everybody that bought it when it first was announced or when it was bought from Games Workshop, because I think you might have been able to actually buy it for like, I think it was 160, and it went, I think you were able to get it from 128 here in the UK. But yeah, I mean, it was a great deal at 128. It's a good deal at 200 probably still. If you don't have all the models in it and you need them, it's probably still a decent deal. Every time I run a Death Company or Brutalis Dreadnought, I feel like it needs a few more wounds to get value out of it. Yeah, I kind of felt that too. It's probably why I don't really field them, the Death Company or the Brutalis. I kind of also just hate fielding models that have no OC. That's kind of my problem with those models. I feel like if they had some OC, I'd be much more on board with running them. Yeah, the Sanguinary Guard I converted last night had Crimson Lord, shoulder pads, backpacks, and helmets. So I basically didn't use any of the Games Workshop stuff for the shoulder pads, the helmets, or the backpacks, because I wanted mine to have wings. Are there any 3D bits for upgrading the Brutalistics? I wish they'd given those different names, the Ballistus and the Brutalis. I get them tongue-tied all the time. Yes, Zafax, if you're in the UK, I would check out Archie's Forge. Archie's Forge has a Ballistus upgrade kit. I think that might be where this banner here came from. The Archie's Forge Ballistus upgrade kit. I think Archie's Forge said that they were working to get international shipping on the go as well, and that they already shipped to a bunch of countries internationally. So maybe you can actually check Archie's Forge even if you're not in the UK. What do you think about the new Christmas battle boxes? I never really get the battle boxes. I only play one army, man. Which battle boxes do you like? Like, what's I honestly don't know what's exciting about the battle boxes. I never really pay too much attention to them, I guess. I mean, if there's a Space Marine army box, I'd always have a look at it, but typically I always buy all the new Space Marine releases whenever they're... You know, like, any new Space Marine box, I typically buy it. I bought everything. Since I came back... I think Dark Imperium was when I came back to the hobby. So Dark Imperium was like the launch box for 8th edition. I might have been playing just before that. I might have been playing just towards the end of 7th. But I think since the Dark Imperium box, I haven't ever missed a Space Marine box. So I've got like Leviathan, I've got Indomitus, I've got Shadow Spear, I've got Dark Imperium. I feel like there's another one in there somewhere. Strike Force Augustus. I think there's another one on top of Augustus that I'm not thinking about. Shadow Spear, Dark Imperium, Leviathan, Indomitus, Augustus. Maybe that's it, and then the Blood Angels one in the Combat Patrol. So I think I've bought everything. So typically when I even bought the Kill Team box. What was it called? The one that had the Heavy Intercessors in it and the special Heavy Intercessors Captain before they came out. It might have been Pariah Nexus, that Kill Team box. I can't remember. I mean, I typically buy all the Space Marine stuff anyway. So I guess like the Christmas boxes, if I only collect one army, I guess it's not that exciting to me because I probably already have all the models. Sanguinary Mephiston seemed to have good play in Ironstorm. Yeah, I saw an Ironstorm list that did really, really well in competitive play this weekend past. I wasn't planning on reviewing it yet, because this weekend, this next video I'm doing is more of a Liberator Assault video. But we might have a look at the crazy Ironstorm Blood Angels in the coming weeks. You'll be buying 2 Tau battle boxes. You heretic. You filthy Xeno. Actually, you filthy Xenos? Xenos? I don't actually know what the plural is. I guess it's Xenos. What's so good about the Tau box? Now that you've played Astaroth for a while, do you have any preference between him and Lamartis? I watched your video today and it seemed impartial at the time. It's a good question. Personally, I think I prefer playing Astaroth as it currently is. I think Lamartis is still a very strong character, and I think he might still be the right choice for some people. But having played Death Company, I guess for like a year at this point, in every single game I ever play, I feel like I'm always going to put a unit of Death Company into reserve, because I don't like Death Company on the board, because I don't know if I feel they're a particularly survivable unit. I've had games where I started Lamartis as 10-man Death Company on the board, and I've taken horrific losses before I've got into charge range. I think usually my deployments and stuff are pretty good, but that can still happen, so that happens to the best of us. So if that is a potential thing that is going to happen, and I'm going to get my Death Company like lit up before they get into charge range, then I'm just going to do what I can to eliminate that. And I guess to eliminate that, it is start them in reserve and rapid ingress them. And if I'm doing the rapid ingress strat, which I am doing, and I did every single game of the GT that I won in June, then I guess my mind tells me that Astaroth is a better pick for me, because Astaroth will do more damage when he charges than Lamartis will do. Because Dev Wounds is going to be more beneficial than lethal hits. It's not much more beneficial, but it's enough that if you're just looking to do the absolute alpha strike, then Astaroth will outperform Lamartis. So if I know that I'm most likely going to be reserving them, because I think that's the safest way for me to play Death Company, it's the way that I've had the most success with, then I think Astaroth is my choice. I know that choice was not super popular in the tier list video. Some people still think Lamartis is the better choice. But maybe maybe you're playing it differently. I'm just telling you how I am playing Death Company and why I think it's the better choice. The way I'm playing it means that very unlikely that my opponent can ever put any damage on my Death Company before they make their charge, because they're not on the table. And when I bring them in, they will make the charge because they will be on the table through rapid ingress. Then I think Astaroth works best for me. Am I still running Dante and the Repulsor? I was actually planning to drop it tonight. So Dante and the Repulsor is gone. I've tried the Repulsor in 4 games, Mike. I feel like I can't... I thought I would be able to get a lot of value out of it. I have not felt like it's been worth 180 points. I think 4 games is enough times to try it. Did I get the Crimson Spear Battle Force? No, I didn't get the Crimson Spear Battle Force. Was that not the one that had like all the Assault Intercessors and Outriders? I already had all those models. Like I said, I already buy all the new Space Marine stuff, so I didn't buy the Crimson Spear one. I ran 2x10 Death Company, one with Lamartis, one with Astaroth tonight. Lamartis might have done better, but it's very close. Well, I mean, yeah, the thing with Astaroth is you've got to roll those 6s for the Dev Wounds. If you have a bad roll for Astaroth on the Dev Wounds, then... I mean, that can be pretty rough. I've had that happen as well. where like I dived into like a knight and had like no dev wound rolls, and it was pretty rough. But I mean, every unit rolls hot, every unit rolls low. My general thought is like, don't only play with a unit once. Like, play with it a few times, get the feel of it. Like I said, I tried this repulsor idea with Dante 4 times. After attempt number 4, I'm like, yeah, okay, I feel like I'm not getting the value out of this. Art of War did not agree with me. They put Astrath, I think they put him in S tier. Sorry, no, I think they put Lamartas in S tier. I think that's what most people were upset about, was Art of War put Lamartas in S tier, and I think in our tier list we had him way down in B or something. If you could use... yeah, if you don't roll 6s, it can be pretty devastating. Yes, correct. I like what you did there. Great use of language. Rules for fight first. Who fights for... does fight first come before units who charge, and does it work against enemies who also have fight first? Yes, the defensive player always picks a unit first. So if you are charged... Let's say the enemy makes 3 charges, and all 3 of your units had fight first. You would get to pick 1. Then they would get to pick 1, then you would get to pick 1, and then they would get to pick 1. So basically, like, if you only have 1 fight first unit, and they made 3, or... I was going to say, imagine... Yeah, if you only have 1 fight first unit, and they have 3 charges, then they're... You know, you're picking your 1 fight first, and then they're making their 3. I was trying to think of an example that would make that clearer, but yeah, it's 1. You pick 1, then they pick 1. Oh. Is there a bit of diminishing value taking multiple fight first? Yes, I think like there's not much point in taking more than 2. Remember as well that after they've fought with one of their charging units, you can pay to interrupt, right? It does cost 2 CP, but you can do it. So if you have 1 fight first unit, they charge you with 2 units, let's say. You fight first with your fight first unit, and then they fight with 1, and then you can instantly pay 2 CP to fight at that point. So, I mean, there is an argument that just like 1 fight first is the optimal number, but... And you also pay quite a lot of points for fight first, so there is a diminishing return. I mean, if you got 2 fight first, it's not like it's a bad thing, because you can choose. You know, maybe they'll both get charged in the same turn, but there is diminishing returns there. Draxel is buying the Tau box because it has massive robots in it. Well, at least you're honest. I've ordered that new Transformers 1 movie for my kids. I'm quite excited to see it. I was wanting to go see it at the cinema, but it wasn't on for very long, so I'm gonna give it to my kids on Christmas Day, so we'll spend some time on Christmas Day off watching that new Transformers cartoon movie. Apparently it's got like crazy good reviews. Apparently it's the best Transformers movie since the 80s one, the cartoon in the 80s. I always thought the cartoon in the 80s was better than any of the new Michael Bay films anyway, but I thought it was maybe just because I grew up in the 80s. 80s movies honestly had the best music. It's so cheesy, but at the same time it's just so good. The 80s Transformers, the animated movie, had the best OST ever recorded. It was good. You got the touch. Dun, dun, dun. You got the power. Yeah. You know what? Back in, like, we didn't have no fucking Netflix, did we? We had to rent the movie out from the video shop. I swear we rented that movie over and over and over. Like, I don't know why my parents didn't just buy me the damn movie, because we must have rented it like 50 times. And it cost money every time you rented it, right? Man, that was peak 90s entertainment. Going to the movie shop on a Friday night with your, you know, like with your father or whatever, and the movie, the rental place used to sell you, what was it, like, you used to get your movie, you used to get a bag of popcorn, sometimes you'd even get like a bottle of soda. I made my dad rent that all the time too. Right on, dude. Yeah, my dad must, like I said, we rented that movie so many times. I don't know why my parents didn't buy me that damn movie. Good times. Good old Blockbuster, yeah. Do you know at one point, I was watching a documentary the other week, they said like at one point Blockbuster were making like, oh, it was a disgusting amount of money. It was like, they were making like $2 billion a year turnover. Like they knew that, like, they saw Netflix coming and they just didn't deal with it. My dad rented me a PlayStation 1 game one time, the Space Hulk game. Dude, I remember that Space Hulk game. There was like, oh my god, I'm gonna do the voice acting. It was like, this is for Bethor! It was like that you were wandering around with a thunder hammer. Fuck, I remember that game on the PlayStation 1. That would have been like... It was first person, right? Man, I bet you if we could get that game now, it would look so crap. I was 7 years old. Do you know what I found? Did I show you this? This is mine. Like, this is the original from 1995. Look at the PC requirements. You need half a megabyte. Well, 580k, so just over half a megabyte of free memory. You need a CD-ROM drive. I don't even know what MSC Dex 2.1 is, but like, this is mine. It's actually okay. I had this and I had Hero Quest. Hero Quest had a fucking awesome soundtrack. But yeah, no, this is my original. I've had this since, well, probably 1995. Look how yellow these pages are. And these are like laminated pages almost, and they're still turned yellow. I didn't even really know laminated pages could turn yellow. Man, I miss when games actually had a manual. Remember that? Oh look, there's space for note. What notes am I going to make in the manual? Like, it's a little bit ripped up here. But yeah, I had Hero Quest, I had Premier Manager 2. I think I know where Premier Manager 2 is. I think this is probably better than Space Marine 2 though, right? This probably better than Space Marine 2. I mean, is this supposed to be a white scar here? And if so, why is he surrounded by blood angels and a dreadnought? I had some other ancient 40k games. I think I maybe even had one on floppy disk. Ah, greetings, Alex. How you doing? Bad. You know what? I need to try and see if I can get an emulator and make that run. We'll stream the original Space Crusade. Do you remember when you had to find a word from page 52, paragraph 2, word 4 in the manual before you could play a game? I do remember that. Good times, right? Right, I'm going to use the paint on my palette and then I am going to call it a night. It's getting kind of late. Did you play Chaos Gate? I played the remake. I never really played the first one, and I did like the remake. I just thought the remake was very, very difficult. And I love turn-based games like that, like XCOM and XCOM 2. Well, I mean, if we go way back, like XCOM before it got reboot. I really liked the original XCOM games, like the 90s ones. And then I really liked... I actually really liked the remakes as well. I know some people didn't like the remakes as much. I really liked those XCOM remakes. I've been kind of waiting for XCOM 3 because I thought the first two were super successful. I was expecting a third one by now. And this, I mean, the second one was like 10 years ago at this point. Maybe it wasn't 10, but like 7 or 8. Thank you so much for subscribing, Marcus, member for 15 months. Never changed. Fallout 1 and 2 were really good. Yeah, do you know what? I have never played Fallout 4. But I watched that Fallout TV show, and I was like, man, I should play Fallout 4. So I think I bought it in like one of the Steam sales for like a $5 or something, but I haven't got to it yet. The Rogue Trader game, is it good? Was it good? It was a bit like Baldur's Gate, right? They brought out Chimera Squad. Yes, do you know what? I did buy Chimera Squad. I must admit, it's one of the games I've got downloaded on Steam that I've not really started. I've got a few games on Steam that I've not really started. I did complete a game on Steam a few weeks ago, so probably need to start something else. It's probably why I'm complaining. I was complaining to my wife. I was like, I've got no video games that I want to play. I've got nothing that I want to watch on telly. She's like, first world problems, I guess. I think my problem is I've got enough IPs I'm interested in, so I don't want to like learn about new IPs or pick up new products or anything like that. I want to just enjoy the things I already know that I like. Is the Fallout TV show any good? Seemed okay. I enjoyed it. Evening, Carl. How you doing? It seemed a lot, the Fallout TV show was quite good, I think. The other show that I really liked was Silo on Apple TV. I know that they've got a new season of that coming out. So I think that's coming out pretty soon. So I will get Silo, or I will watch Silo. Yeah, I mean, I've only spent a few hours on this Dreadnought. I guess at least it's battle ready now to a certain extent. I'll maybe get back to painting the Death Company with Eviscerators next paint session. I just wanted a change because I'd been edge highlighting those And I knew I'm going to try this dreadnought in the next battle report. I like having things painted. I mean, you can always throw on 80s Arnold action movies for background noise. Do you know what? I wish that there was more 80s Arnold background movies that I hadn't seen, man. I haven't watched Monarch on Apple TV. I didn't know about that one. Get the Reavers ready. I've got the Reavers painted, man. They're painted. They're good to go. They're waiting for good rules. I'm not even joking you. I mean, I've been waiting for good rules for them for like 5 years. I'll keep waiting. Let me see. Look, they're painted. It's the Reavers. They're good to go. This one's even had a little bit of a conversion with a Death Company shoulder pad and helmet. We're ready. We're ready for good rules. We're waiting. They've got no dust on them. They're ready. I'm glad you're so passionate about Reavers. They're going to be in the tactics video this week. Someone has done really well in a tournament with Reavers. So at least you've got that to look forward to, eh? How was your first game with lag, Carl? Did you do alright? It's just an easy meme at this point, yeah. Nomax says, my last 3 games I've ran 3 ballistas. First impressions are they feel great. I feel like I'm getting value out of the point investment. I mean, that's... I don't have a 3rd ballistas, but I mean, I do think it I do think at 390 points, it's kind of cheap. Hold on, my wife's been texting me. Is it something important? No. Okay. Cool. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. The new tactics video will be on Friday, you know the drill. Like 1 o'clock Friday. I was going to say, I don't think I've got anything else to say to you. I'll get the video about the Sanguinary Guard out as soon as I can. With Mr. Double-Bladed. I was going to say double-bladed Sanguinary Guard. Why not? So I've got that coming, and I'm working on a Dante painting video as well. So have a good night. I'll try and get them out as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on Friday. Peace, 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 peace.